has played so much of this champion in solo queue and dominated in North American solo queue. I'm super excited to see what Cloud9 can do in the early stages versus what TSM are showing here, baby. That Lucian solo lane has been gaining so much popularity and is a very, very offensive lane.
Now, Cloud9 have a lot of tools to disengage and protect themselves with if they're initiated on. When you look at a Galio ultimate, a Kindred ultimate, Braum ultimate, all these tools. But their engage options are limited, specifically against a team that is so ranged and has so much kite back potential. You've got Graves, you've got Senna, you've got Lucian, all on this same team. This TSM squad will be difficult for Cloud9 to engage on.
And it's got to be Licorice playing the flanks. He has to be very, very good about working around the vision of TSM because Sett's ultimate is the key that could bring that all together. Sett and Galio, that is a dream combination if you get the good setup, if you're able to position yourself for a good angle onto an opponent to dunk into the rest of the team. That's going to be what they're hoping for. That plus, Kindred ultimate going down can also buy time for that big knockup.
Well, with Champion Select complete, let's waste no more time and send things over to Summoner's Rift for Game 1 of this playoff match. Let's do it to it. Get this series underway. A best-of-5 between TSM and Cloud9 like we've seen so many times before. You talked about it during Countdown when they checked in with us there at the beginning of things, Kobe, just how many times these two teams have played against each other and met each other in a best-of-5s in playoffs here in North America.
It really is crazy, the history between these two teams. Ever since the beginning of the LCS, they have fought at the top of the North American competitive scene. Spica's going to dash right into him.
Oh, Spica immediately dashing over the wall. I don't know how that's going to work out too well here. Spica is going to be kept alive, and now Nisqy's having to run away. This is turning into a bloodbath here at level 1. First blood over to Broken Blade. The only thing better than top lane Lucian in a 1v1 is top lane Lucian in a 1v1 with 400 free gold. TSM are on the board.
The Analyst Test wanted level 1s, Captain Flowers. I am not sure that's exactly what they wanted, but man, Spica jumps over, dashes into the brush. Got to be a little surprising to see that many Cloud9 members there waiting for him, and yet TSM are able to defend him as he walks his way out, even with the taunt coming through from Nisqy and the flash. TSM get the first blood. They get their Graves off to a bottom side start. Here's another look at it. TSM are like, all right, here's the plan, Spica. Look juicy. Look real juicy. He flashes there, gets caught on the other side of the taunt, but no other members of Cloud9 can contribute the rest of the damage, and even with Licorice flashing forward to follow up CC, Galio taunt into the Sett stun. Cloud9 do not get a kill. They are unable to focus down the extra member, and that will be TSM starting off the series. First blood.
All right, let's go ahead and take stock of what all was used in that level 1, since it sort of turned into a big old mess there as all 10 players were within 3 feet of each other. Flash from Licorice, Blaber, and Nisqy, as well as Vulcan's heal, were all expended by Cloud9. On the side of TSM, it was Flash from Broken Blade, Spica, and Bjergsen, along with Bjergsen's Ghost and the heal from Biofrost. So almost identical summoner spells used in the level 1 by both sides. Entire top half flashes plus support heals. The difference being Bjergsen's Ghost was the extra spell used there, but that is already halfway off cooldown. Does have a shorter reset timer compared to most other summoners.
And the reason, Captain Flowers, why I point out before we go into the replay that Spica starts on bottom side of the map on blue buff is because of their composition and the lane matchups here. It's so important for this Lucian matchup, especially now that flashes have been blown, that Spica can clear bottom to top and had his presence there to allow Broken Blade to get the most out of that big advantage. He's making a pass towards Nisqy, but that's not going to mean much at all. Meanwhile, Blaber trying to path down towards to the bottom side of the map, just full clear on Kindred, and there's no reason for Spica to even have to worry about getting double scuttles for himself with all of his lanes pushing, and the full priority here of TSM. He's got control of the jungle.
right. You're talking about Spica needing to continue hanging out on this top side and make sure that he's allowing Broken Blade to play as aggressively as he wants. We've seen Lucian top fail in the past, and often it is because he gets collapsed on by the enemy jungler. His ally isn't able to help him the way he needs to be helped, but Spica is going to make sure that he's right there behind Broken Blade here in this game. You can see Broken Blade keeping those minions underneath Licorice's turret, and with no flash, there's no way Licorice gets anywhere close to the guy. I don't care if you're going to be able to press Q and run a little bit faster, Lucian's staying at gun's distance.
Exactly. Level 1 trading flashes is definitely a huge advantage for the Lucian, considering that top lane sets do not take the Hex flash like support sets do. Support sets can just spam out their flashes no problem, then use Hex Flash plus Nimbus Cloak combination from the brush and continually look for plays. But topside set here for Licorice for solo lane doesn't have that luxury. He requires a jungler to make those sorts of moves.
Blaber could be just the man he needs to help him out here. You can see right there, without any sort of a flash, Licorice goes in. Yeah, he's fast, but he's not fast enough. Blaber will show up here just to make sure Licorice is able to shove this wave all the way in. Broken Blade cannot freeze. That means that this will reset a little bit, allow Licorice to go home, shop up a little bit here. And although the gank didn't exactly get a kill, Blaber's presence was still very much appreciated in keeping this lane playable for Licorice.
Exactly. Keep my lane playable, please. So appreciated. You really need to coordinate with your jungler at the highest level of play when you're trying to control minion waves in a matchup like this where, you know, Sett would be very vulnerable without the flash and very susceptible to those Graves ganks. Plus, just brutalization here from Broken Blade's Lucian. The solo lane Lucians, of course, all going press the attack, and you can actually tell the builds that the Lucian is going to go by whether they choose Bloodline or Overheal. And of course, the Overheal ones go for the early Blade of the Ruined King that you can see Broken Blade going for right now. Tons of early power. The Bloodline ones with the lifesteal from runes go for the more scaling options. You either go Muramana or you go with the Essence Reaver full crit build.
This time around, we are going to see Blade of the Ruined King as the rush then, based on those rune choices and the item in Broken Blade's inventory already, which honestly makes a lot of sense. You're laning against a Sett, Blade of the Ruined King will be incredibly useful in that 1v1. Also on shooting Braum and Galio and Sett all together, those three targets he will be mostly exposed to in a team fight. Also going to put in plenty of work there with the on-hit damage. Blaber now collects the first dragon of the game, that is Infernal Drake, over to the side of Cloud9. As bottom lane, the 2v2 gets a little bit scrappy here. Zven down to 300 HP, but not really too worried about anything else here. DoubleLift and Biofrost doing a good job in this 2v2, and I think specifically a lot of TSM fans are looking at this duo to step up here in this series, because part of the reason that TSM had to reverse sweep against Golden Guardians, part of the reason that TSM got 3-0'd by them in the first round of playoffs to begin with, is DoubleLift and Biofrost not being able to measure up to the standard that FBI and who he were setting. So I think DoubleLift fans in particular are looking for this dude to really, really show up against Cloud9 here when it matters most.
Yeah, and DoubleLift had such nice words to say about FBI after that series. He also added in that he thought it was going to be easier versus Cloud9 because he is more comfortable playing versus Zven and it won't be as oppressive. So we shall see if that actually comes true on the Rift. Currently, both players are playing some of the champions that they have probably gotten the most flame for playing. DoubleLift Senna, you know, a big part of the Team Liquid downfall and flame that everybody really focused on when it first became meta. And for Zven, his Ezreal, you know, even recently, as well as on the finals stage there, both of them have received criticism for these champs. But the fact that they're willing to go back to them, they do not give up, they do not take that to heart, and they know that they can put in the work to perform on the biggest stage with these champs. Top side, though, it's going to be a start from Licorice into Galio ult.
Well, there we go. Bringing in all the backup here as Broken Blade tries to get away, but there is no way out. Licorice calls in the cavalry, and Cloud9 will tie this game up 1-1.
And this is why, Captain Flowers, there were two champions that Cloud9 said they mean business when they pick them. This was back in the beginning of summer. They said Galio and Kalista, the big guns. Here we go, though. Twisted Fate for TSM.
Well, the guns have already been fired off in the top lane, and now TSM is striking back. Blaber is already out of this fight, and Spica is leading the charge into the remaining Cloud9 lines, but Licorice packed a wallop. Sends Spica right back to the spawn platform. Nisqy going to be taken down there by Broken Blade. Absolute bloodbath here in the top side as we're going to have bodies traded back and forth, but it's TSM who are able to secure themselves that Rift Herald. They'll pick that one up. Jungler dead means the eye has to be picked up by someone else. They put it on Bjergsen. He has the easiest time getting around the map, dropping it where it needs to be.
Oh, anything you can do, I can do better, Captain Flowers. You can roam from mid lane and pick off the jungler. So can I. Bjergsen teleports in with the Twisted Fate, and Biofrost goes to lock up Blaber before Blaber can use his ult. Nisqy gets the big taunt here, and Licorice is able to pick up the counter kill onto the TSM jungler, but he dies after flashing over the wall anyways, and with the Rift Herald in hand for Bjergsen, this can be the determining factor in two mid laners that both want to push and roam. Plus, Bjergsen will be able to get full gold from a Rift Herald activation.
Well, here we go. Vulcan starting things off in the 2v2. Opens up with the Glacial Fissure. However, DoubleLift's flash is used there to escape the True Shot Barrage, make it so Cloud9 is not confident to follow that up and go for the true all-in. But DoubleLift will now go ahead, go all the way back to base, pick up that Mana Moon so he can start charging that faster and faster towards the Muramana evolution.
All right, let's see. Broken Blade also completing the Blade of the Ruined King to his namesake there for Lucian. So this is going to be a pretty big power spike for the top side. Licorice thankfully did get to his Bramble Vest, rushing that very quickly, which is super necessary in the matchup as you need to do something about cutting that healing that he's going to get from the Blade of the Ruined King. And actually, Broken Blade did not go overheal in this matchup, which is usually the case for the Blade of the Ruined King starts, but opted for the Presence of Mind instead. That option allows you to get so much mana back after contributing to, getting the extra levels that you can push the wave after getting a kill.
Broken Blade is very scary on this Lucian now. You mentioned how Nisqy used the flash and died afterwards in the last fight. Broken Blade also telling a similar story when Cloud9 collapsed on him in a 3v1 to begin with. So solo laners on both teams missing some flashes right now. Only Bjergsen still has his up and ready to go. Speaking of that, he's going to drop the Rift Herald here in the mid lane and see if they can make some money off of this mid lane tier 1 turret. A couple more shots will be able to take down that 4th plate, but Nisqy's doing his best to try to defend it, but his best's only going to put him in the dirt. Cloud9 will lose their mid laner and 4.5 plates off their mid lane turret.
And the early game focus here for TSM is paying off in spades with the Rift Herald used, getting the plates, turning into a dragon start here. Nisqy, 14 seconds left on his revival, and he does have Galio ultimate, but TSM should be able to finish up the objective before he gets back up.
This TSM is looking like the team that was playing for the last 3 games against their series against Golden Guardians. It looks like they managed to get out some of the wrinkles, fix some of the issues there, and not put themselves in the same sort of bad spots they found themselves against Golden Guardians with. This squad is up to a 2,000 gold lead already. They're tied in the Drake count. It is going to be a Mountain Soul this game, so every Drake from this point forward will be those Mountain Drakes spawning, and things are going really nicely for TSM in the first 12 minutes.
All right, splitting dragons here. Might put a little bit delay on the plan for Souls, as Cloud9 was able to get the Infernal one, but TSM's focus on the early game still should remain similar here. Bjergsen's able to get to a pretty early Rod of Ages off of the Rift Herald money, plus the 4 assists from the Rift Herald play itself. And with the early boots of swiftness, now it's up to Cloud9 to ward around this mid lane. Constantly you have to put wards on both sides to see which side the TF is hugging to, because honestly, both sides of the map are options for TSM. They've kept open both sides here. Broken Blade tries to keep up the pressure on Licorice, and Biofrost with flash on Rakan, definitely available or going for one of those big picks.
Now, looking across the board at what everybody's got to work with, I see commencing stopwatches ready to go here for both Bjergsen and Vulcan. Playmaking opportunities for both of these champions to be able to go into the thick of things and then immediately drop that aggro, be able to survive after the fact. Summoner spells, most are up. Should a fight break out soon, everybody's going to be ready with everything ready to fire there in the tank. Spica continuing to try to farm up here on this Graves. Does have 2 levels above Blaber's Kindred. Kobe, you said in Champ Select you wanted to see Blaber on one of these carry junglers. This is what people know Blaber for at his best, but being 2 levels down is not a good look.
Yeah, TSM had a really good jungle start. We talked about with the pushing lane, Spica's able to get the double crab onto Blaber, and then that Rift Herald fight determined so much of this mid game as TSM were able to kill Blaber before he could get his ult off, plus getting the objective, and the focus has kept up here for TSM around the mid lane. No surprise here. There's only a tiny bit of health left on the turret. I think this is a really good macro call. They rotate Broken Blade down just for a second to make sure that they can open up this map for Bjergsen now. Level 11, you get rank 2 in your Twisted Fate ultimate, and all of a sudden, Cloud9 have to worry about the sides of the map as well.
And it was right at 14 minutes. The minions literally die as the turret plate falls, and it guarantees there's no way for C9 to be able to hold that mid lane tier 1 turret. TSM is up to over 3,000 gold as an advantage. Blaber's looking to take himself a Scuttle Crab down here, but the fight is going to break out. Blaber continuing to chase forward. Spica on the run. DoubleLift looking to get away as well. Nisqy following up. There's your taunt. There's your damage. There's your kill. Nisqy gets himself on the board.
There's your counter engage, Captain Flowers, that you point out in Champion Select. And this time around, Nisqy is able to protect the team. They also teleport down Licorice. So Sett coming down does win them the fight, get them the kill. However, it leaves your tower very vulnerable here, unprotected, and Broken Blade will be happy to clean that one up. Top lane Marksman, of course, easily able to punish anytime their lane opponent leaves the lane.
There is no better feeling as a jungler than when you might have been having a rough early game. You're trying to grab a Scuttle Crab to get back in the game. The enemy jungler comes to contest, and what do you get? You get 3 of your boys coming down to say, no, get the hell out of here. And they make sure you get that crab. Protecting Blaber, helping him to get back in the game, equalize footing a little bit here compared to the TSM jungle. And now it's Cloud9 on to the Rift Herald here yet again. Will TSM make the rotation to stop this? Will Cloud9 even stick onto it? It looks like no. Licorice is in trouble here. Vulcan jumping in front, using the Unbreakable, trying to block this from going any further. Nisqy wants to go in. However, the taunt will be flashed away from, and that means Cloud9 has to disengage. They will not be able to chase TSM further.
But so many flashes burned in this as well, and key ones at that. Now Licorice for the Sett, no flash for him. Bjergsen immediately switches over with his spellbook into the heal, and they're looking to force another fight, Flowers.
Well, TSM are saying, all right, Cloud9, we dare you to show up now. C9 health bars are a little bit injured here. Half HP on the Rift Herald. Biofrost taking some damage. Nisqy going in, but he's stunned up before he's able to go all the way into the TSM health bars. Now he's got to get himself back away. Nice ulti coming out from DoubleLift, finds damage onto 3. Nearly a kill coming out from Spica's collateral damage. Bjergsen continuing to deal the wild card. Stun goes through. Not going to find a whole lot just yet. Blaber taken down. Blaber gone. Means no way to contest this objective, and TSM get the 1 for 0.
And we see, Flowers, why a TSM strategy like this requires so much patience. You have to focus fire down. When you're running 4 ranged champions like this, your positioning and your kiting is put right to the forefront of your team fighting. As TSM are able to evade there and then counter-engage onto Cloud9. Biofrost, of course, is the point man, trying to get anyone locked down and allowing the rest of the 4 range members then to focus somebody down for C9. That's why it's so important for Cloud9 to get these control ward flanks, have teleports in, or have their flashes up. Because if they do not lock down these ranged members, then they just get out DPS'd in the at-range fight.
And man, what a reward for that 1 kill that shows up here for TSM. Not only will they get Rift Herald number 2, this team will also acquire themselves the 3rd Drake of the game, that first Mountain Drake that either side has been able to acquire, puts them at 2 Drakes total, so getting neutral objectives on both halves of the map thanks to a single kill. TSM, once again, their macro play has the proper timings to give them rewards for the small victories that they're having against Cloud9.
Yeah, and even though Cloud9 got the first Dragon, TSM have been pretty quick with the 2 consecutive ones after that, so moving towards Soul Point for themselves. Now, I will say, from Cloud9's perspective, They know that if a TSM strategy like this collapses, it collapses in a big way. If you can get that team fight without them being able to scatter and being able to kite out of your crowd control combination here, then Cloud9 can make a huge, huge comeback in this game and gain a lot of this standing gold very quickly. The outer towers are all still available, so when we look at the scoreboard and you see all this money, remember that the outer towers, being very valuable, have a lot of gold that if you win that team fight, if you jump onto the ranged members and you can cause a collapse from the side of TSM, then your rewards will be huge.
Cloud9 will continue just trying to defend for now, allowing themselves to scale up, seeing if maybe they can get to that point you're talking about where they can just catch TSM out, get the chain CC, like what we saw Nisqy able to do near the enemy blue buff when they did fight over that crab. Nisqy charging up the taunt, but considering he's on top of a ward, there's no chance that he's going to get
saves lives, Captain Flowers. Wards definitely save lives.
If any of y'all out there watching right now have a friend that doesn't want to buy wards because they don't do damage, just show them that clip, because otherwise that would have been 300 gold in the pocket of Cloud9. But C9 still down about 5,000 here, 19.5 minutes into the game. Zven is scaling up here on the Ezreal, almost has the Iceborne Gauntlet completed. However, Iceborne Gauntlet's one of those items that you look at it, and if you're playing against a melee champion, a champion that has a difficult time gap closing to begin with, yeah, it's very useful. Helps you kite them away, keeps them at bay, really good stuff. But when you're already up against a team that's going to be trying to maintain as much range as possible, feels like you don't get quite the same amount of effect out of it.
Yeah, I do like it though still, because he wants to also offensively add slows for Licorice and Nisqy to be able to get their combinations off. So I could definitely see it. Plus, there's so much attack damage on TSM's lineup here,
right,
with Graves and Lucian also being some of the shorter range marksmen, and Senna still stacking up for the extra range there. He can definitely get a lot of value out of the slow and out of the armor in this game if he's able to position well and also try and help the teammates in their objectives for the team fight. Rifttrail number 2 activated down mid lane though. Smart by TSM to keep Bjergsen splitting on top side until they absolutely need him to pop the Twisted Fate ultimate. He can join at a later time.
Well, that Shelly didn't get a whole lot. I mean, 75% of the HP on the tier 2 turret, but it's not like there's plate money available for that. It's not like you were actually able to knock it down. So TSM,
you get paid for overtime, you get 1 charge.
Yep. You just kind of drop it, say, all right, cool, we'll take that, then walk back away. We're starting to see those 2-item power spikes come along for a lot of different players here. You've got the Essence Reaver done for Broken Blade. Lich Bane completed for Bjergsen. He's also about to hit the 10th stack there on Rod of Ages. Also QSS completed for Biofrost, making sure that when he jumps in, he's not just going to get immediately CC'd and controlled by a Nisqy taunt, and that he can get back out after things are taken care of there.
And now, it's a key part. It's a key part of their strategy because, as we mentioned, you know, it's 4 DPS, 4 ranged DPS that are trying to focus fire, and who's going to be able to set them up for it? It has to either be a gold card or it has to be Biofrost, because Senna's snare is actually pretty difficult to land as the first form of CC. Much easier to get that lightning quick engage from a Rakan or, you know, a Bjergsen teleport in to lock someone down and then try and layer the ensuing skill shots. And here's Biofrost sneaking around, looking for the big flank. They're going to go for it.
This could be tragedy here for Cloud9. Biofrost able to find the initiation onto Vulcan alone, but Nisqy's going to be entering now with the Galio. Ulti comes down, Blaber at half HP. Teleport also brings Licorice into the fray. Biofrost has no flash, no ulti, half HP. The Dragon will be live here in 6 seconds. If TSM gets it, they bring themselves to Soul Point and will force a Dragon contest from Cloud9 for the rest of the game. C9 trying to prevent that, immediately going to start the Dragon up, but TSM do not want to concede this objective. Spica is still ready. Flash available, Smite available. Dragon down to 1,500. Nisqy looking to go for the flash play. There you go, there's your engage. Goodbye, Bjergsen. Cloud9 will pick the enemy mid laner. They will take the Drake, tie that count up at 2-2. Broken Blade still hanging around, looking for maybe a chance to go in on the flank here. But 1 versus 5 isn't good odds. They'll walk away from that one, and Cloud9 find themselves a nice mid-game win.
Ooh, we are still in it, Captain Flowers. Nisqy casts a wide net here on the Galio. And even though Spica is able to flash away, DoubleLift flashes, that's 2 flashes for TSM, kiting away in that scatter that we talked about, trying to kite for themselves. He does catch Bjergsen, and just catching 1 is enough to earn them Dragon number 2. Now the hopes of TSM's early soul are getting very far out of reach, and Cloud9 starting to make their comeback.
I'd say they're already gone. Earliest either one of these teams is going to be getting a soul is around 32, 33 minutes. If you're killing the Drake on spawn and you get both of them back to back, seems like a pipe dream, my friend.
It's definitely going to have to be a much longer game plan than initially hoped for. I will say, so update right now on Senna, 43 stacks. Every 20, you get the extra bonus range, 25 range. So yeah. With the 43, you've gotten the extra 50 range so far. That needs to keep on going for TSM, for DoubleLift, to be able to have a little bit safer time, especially in scenarios like this where now he does not have his flash. So Cloud9 keeping very, very close attention to flash timers right now. Also, do not be stingy with your gold. Buy your control wards right now. You can see 4 members, you have them in inventory.
Broken Blade going for the all-in here on Licorice. Used his Blade of the Ruined King. Recognized the Blade of the Ruined King had already been used by Licorice earlier, but Licorice turns things back around. Blaber has arrived. Broken Blade has committed the cardinal sin of greed, my friends, and the shutdown from Cloud9 will be money in the pocket of Blaber. But TSM, not to be caught asleep at the wheel, will take the Tier 2 turret in mid lane.
Cloud9, good movement here to collapse onto Broken Blade and kill him and get another of the important flashes off of TSM. Broken Blade flashing away at the end there, but getting chased down with the flash follow for Blaber is really big for them to get some gold. But on the other side from TSM, you know you have to keep playing with that offensive pressure. When Cloud9 chop off 1 of your pressure points, you have to get something back. And they did get the secondary turret mid. It's just that on the response, Cloud9, we talked about the standing gold and the rewards that they can get if they make these picks, if they get these kills. That is their first tower of the game that Nisqy was able to acquire.
Yeah, 25 minutes in for the first turret take from Cloud9. And when you look at the fact that all 3 lanes, as well as the jungle of TSM, are ranged champions, I mean, it makes sense. It's very difficult to push and not be able to just get anything done when your opponents are constantly clearing those waves out. But Blaber is 3-2-1 now after the rough early game that he had. He's got a QSS ready to go, so he's also not going to be immediately caught out and just killed by a Rakan initiation or a gold card. C9 has 2 of their frontline players hanging out in this brush right here. Now they're going in for the wombo combo. DoubleLift is going to be taunted up there, takes some damage. Isn't going to be dead here quite yet. Biofrost trying to get away. Bjergsen coming in from the side. Gold card tossed out. Blaber with the QSS continues the engage, but now has to back away. Collateral damage goes through, and Blaber is down to 1/4 HP.
I have to retreat after that one. They do have vision of them as well, and Bjergsen Twisted Fate ultimate is up.
Bjerg could go in here for the kill onto Blaber. Lamb's Respite keeps him alive. Heroic entrance from Galio also used. Remember, Spica has no ulti, already used that one earlier. TSM continuing to push forward here, knowing that Blaber is so hurt. Now the pings are down onto the Baron. TSM says enemy jungler can't contest. Go, 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 go.
Yeah, the ultimates are all down now for Cloud9. So TSM trying to get the fight while they have the cooldown advantage. Zven walking in.
Oh, Biofrost going to find a face check in there, and Zven is killed. Biofrost taking the kill credit for it as the TP comes in. Broken Blade going to be joining this fight. Nisqy goes back in looking to find a 3-man taunt, but now he's going to be killed off instead. Bjergsen is there. Bjergsen's got the kill onto Blaber, and a face check from Zven, a punish from Biofrost, leads to a Baron for TSM.
Flowers, the Cloud9 fans just yelling out again. It's Zven's Ezreal checking into Baron area brush. He gets locked up again. He gets taken down on one of the most mobile carries. I gotta check because right now there's a Scryer's Orb up for Licorice. We'll have to look at the replay to see if that was up and in position to be used for a check for Cloud9. But that is Baron now in the hands of TSM. And with a a composition that you have to play with so much precision, so much offensive power, but so little defensive power, the Baron just is your dream scenario. Already they can send Bjergsen up to the top tower while pushing down mid. Here's another look at it. Sett was on the bottom side of the map. Okay, so Licorice does have a Scryer's Orb, but he's all the way down on the bottom side, would not be able to use it. And Cloud9 feeling so pressured that they had to check in on there. TSM, though, they did make the turn, getting the extra kills with nobody going down. That is just such a dream scenario. Now it's definitely blown wide open, as TSM were able to make the perfect turn after drawing out those Cloud9 cooldowns earlier with the Twisted Fate from Bjergsen.
TSM fans have to be happy about the state of this game now. 8,000 gold lead, 28 minutes into this game. Baron up on this team that is so difficult to engage on unless Cloud9 can find some sort of a flank. Licorice, that really only engage tool for C9, still has to wait over 2.5 minutes to get that flash up and ready to go again. And TSM has 90 seconds more that they're able to push here with this Baron buff. They only have one turret left outside the Cloud9 base to take. It is this bottom lane tier 2. Should be able to fell that one with just the damage from the minions. And now TSM still has a little over a minute here to work on trying to break the inhibitor turret line.
All right, Baron working its magic right now. All 3 lanes here for TSM. And they can try and sync up a little bit with the minion waves. Bjergsen here, you can see he's waiting a long time. He's not hard pushing these. Broken Blade on the top side with the Lucian, though, has a few more minions to try and build up before they get them to crash at the same time. And now comes the mid wave. Pretty well synced up, honestly, for TSM. They get all 3 in, and they get the damage on the towers. That's some good coordination.
Yeah, the 3-prong push manages to get half of the HP on the bottom lane tier 3 turret, takes down the mid lane inhibitor turret, and now even once Baron wears away, TSM will have a clear path into the Cloud9 base. C9 have lost 2 inhib turrets now as the bottom one falls. Top lane turret under half HP, inhibitors now under siege. TSM is playing this game with fangs bared. They are not willing to walk away and just reset this one for later. They are going for the throat. Nisqy finds a taunt onto Bjergsen, but with nobody else nearby, it's not like there's any kill potential there. Spica with a dash back over the wall to make sure he stays safe. Still 2 seconds left on Baron buff, but those are expiring as the minions collide into the inhibitors here yet again. Licorice goes for the play onto Broken Blade. He tries to use the flash to get away. He makes it a 1-for-1. And honestly, that alone will provide the chance for TSM to continue causing a ruckus here in the other end of the base.
Yeah, I mean, even though they do get a kill, it's heartbreaking for Cloud9 to watch as yet again Blaber gets bursted down, does not get his Kindred ult off. It is a hard decision because you are trying to finish Lucian before ulting so that you don't ult Lucian and save his life, but you know, you got to err on the side of caution here since they had 3 members there and should be able to get him in the aftermath. Blaber does give up the counter kill, and TSM, that whole time, there's no way that Cloud9 sent 3 members at killing Broken Blade and TSM don't get the bottom inhibitor. They knew they're giving that objective up when they go for the kill to try and cut off at least one of the lanes of pressure. But TSM, they do their work. Now it's 2 inhibitors down for them, and they have to keep up the pressure.
What a promising first game here for TSM going up against Cloud9. Nearly a 10,000 gold lead now. They do have to be mindful of the Drakes. If they make a mistake and somebody gets picked right before a Drake spawn, Cloud9 do have only one more Drake they need to collect before they can acquire that Mountain Soul for themselves. But with control over the entirety of the map right now, as long as TSM don't put themselves in a bad spot like that, they should be able to tie this Drake count up at 3-3, or just go for the end of the game. There's only one inhibitor left standing on the Cloud9 side. It is exposed here in the top lane, and TSM are shoving both mid and top lane up with their champions, while the bottom lane just automatically reinforces with the super minions. Licorice going for the engage here. Broken Blade going to be in some trouble. Blaber into the Lamb's Respite, keeping himself alive. Cloud9 moving in as 5, looking to make the plays, looking to grab the kills. Broken Blade is gone. Double kill over to Nisqy. Into the stasis he goes. TSM have lost 2. It is 5 alive for the side of Cloud9, and the Drake spawns in 25 seconds.
Cloud9 are not done fighting yet, Clayton. They deliver the Justice Punch. They get the combo here. 2 kills for themselves and some precious time to clear their base of these pesky super minions. Now that soul that you're talking about does come up, does put the extra pressure point here, but they've got to do 2 things at this moment. Top inhibitor, their only one left standing, has to be defended against Bjergsen. Meanwhile, they're going to get the soul for themselves, thinking this is the only way that they win this game if they have the mountain soul and they can just huddle inside their base, protecting those Nexus turrets. Blaber is the only member on Cloud9 necessary to finish off that dragon. They do get the soul, and now they have to have defense chance, Flowers. Baron has arrived, and their base has no inhibitors defending.
The base is a rubble, and TSM are on to the Baron. It will be time for Cloud9 to weather another purple storm here. As you can see the wards placed down by TSM through the top side of the jungle, outside of the Cloud9 base, to be ready if C9 would try to make any sort of a move towards this. Baron is secured for the second time now by TSM. They will look to end the game on this push. Mid and bottom lane inhibitors both respawning in under a minute and a half. TSM will want to take those down again, and if you're Cloud9 right now, it is all about survival for the next 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
And the thing that's most annoying for Cloud9 with the situation is that their strategy revolves around Licorice finding a good flank. You know, they don't have any wards to deal with. Them losing so much early on, them being pinned up in this small area inside their base makes their options of surprising TSM very difficult. So it has to be a combination here where they try and take advantage of somebody without flash. And currently, the only one without flash on TSM is Broken Blade, and that one is coming up fairly shortly. So with the Mountain Soul as their power here, Cloud9 trying to buy time.
Oh, here we go. Blaber with the flash. Nisqy coming in from the flank as well, but he's going to be killed before he's able to do anything. DoubleLift with the damage. And TSM